That, you know what? That was rock bottom. that was it, because I remember I was just like laying on the cement. I just spent the night in jail. Ooh. I blinded out for 5 or 6 hours. I'm bleeding. I'm fucking, and I just like look up and I'm just like, and then the best part was, since I didn't have keys, there was no one home and I was locked out.
Me and my buddy, we make it all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
All right, guys, welcome back to another Table One episode. Justin Young, Arthur Parmann.
Hello.
And a very special guest today, Jaffee. We got Big Tuna on the tube here.
Yeah, I'm here to give your show a little credibility, like I said.
It's about time.
Yeah.
We're tired with all these followers. We're gonna want to get rid of a few of them.
Yeah. You want to get back into single digits?
Yeah.
We also want to up our lady count from 1.
Wow.
You're like a filter.
You've got a good chance.
All right. Well, for those who don't know, Jaffee is a very successful MTT player. I wouldn't say much else about him that's successful, but I don't know. So let's ask him what he thinks is successful.
You said just MTT. Are you purposely leaving cash out?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
not successful.
Well, I've only had a limited experience with you.
Have you enjoyed it?
I have definitely increased my bankroll by only losing a little bit over the last couple weeks, as opposed to a lot. And a lot of that has to do with you, and I appreciate it.
Glad to be there for you.
Yeah, for a guy that plays a lot of tournaments, you are not very successful at the all-ins, from what I've seen.
And the flips. You've been in a lot of flips, and like 80-20s, just dust.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could just say that I'm not very successful, period.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you have $6.6 million in tournament earnings.
Yeah, but like 15.6 in buy-ins.
So you're the Dan Shack of tournaments?
So Dan's a nice guy. Why would you want to do that to him?
I love Dan.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to be compared to me.
Okay, we'll probably edit that out. Okay. That's fine. All right, so typically the way we kind of jump off with our guests is to talk about how they kind of transition from like the normal life into gambling. Not necessarily poker, because poker can be a little bit boring, but like how did you get from I could be successful lawyer, let's just say, and then go into gambling?
Yeah, how did you transition, Jared?
I'm still transitioning, like right now.
Very slowly.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been like gambling in one form or another since I can remember. Like I remember my first sports bet was on the Super Bowl in first grade, and I won. And my friend came in on Monday and he put 4 quarters on my desk, and that was the last time I won a bet. But I've been continuing to try, and so I've been doing that. And I remember I was playing cards with my friends like already in elementary school, shooting dice, stuff like that. And then I just was always like playing cards and betting sports and whatnot. And then, somehow I went to college and law school and did all that, but I was playing, not so much during college, but during law school, I was always playing poker online and in the games in New York City. And then once I was done with law school, there was no school left to waste my time on. So I had to get a job, at which point I realized that I didn't want to work. So after 3 days of being a lawyer, I was like, I'm going to just play poker.
Solid investment.
Yeah.
Well, I know you were gambling quite large for like a 17, 18, 19-year-old. Like, did you just build like a bankroll through gambling like during this whole time, or just a complete idiot?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would just win and go broke over and over again, gotcha. Like a lot of people. But yeah, I like look back to like when I was young, like junior high school and high school, and like I was always like betting a lot of money, like, and I don't even know where it came from. Like I genuinely don't know even how I had money, because it didn't work. I wasn't selling drugs, but like I was still finding a way to gamble, and like, I don't know. I think I was definitely ahead of my time bankroll wise at a young age.
So how does that even work? How do you not know where the money comes from, and you're a consistent loser? Did you have a job? Were you?
No, I had no job. I don't know.
Did you just borrow and then pay back on the upswings? And
Probably when
You're
I
a
got
scumbag.
older. Probably when I got older. I guess when I was younger, like I don't know, like I didn't have to spend like I would whatever money I would get, like I would just save and use it to gamble with. Like my parents paid for all whatever, so like whenever money came in, I just kind of like grind, just use that to gamble with.
Wow.
Yeah,
I got it. So
I'm
you sold
exactly
your-
what you want your children to become.
Yeah, selling your dad's old Babe Ruth baseballs and shit, right?
I'll tell you what, if he had them, I would have sold them, or I would sell them right now, one or the other.
So you started this story a while ago, but like I was surprised. You said you were 19 in Tuna or Biloxi, I believe.
Biloxi.
So I feel like it's illegal to be a 19-year-old in gambling in Biloxi.
Yeah, so I was going to Atlantic City even when I was like, well, I was going there with my parents like when I was young, but I was gambling there and going by myself when I was like, I think 17. I had a fake ID, and it was a good one because it was a real ID that just wasn't me, but it kind of looked like me, and
Like a thumb. Or
exactly, precisely, a
Funny 'cause
potato.
The thumbs up just went off on the screen like a little bubble a second ago.
So I was driving down. My name was Russell Falcon.
Stop. That can't be
And,
true.
and it was not a fake person. And this is my name. And I was getting comped, like playing blackjack and stuff, like from like 17 to 21, to the point where like my friends would drive down with me and we would go to dinner like at the nice steakhouse and like my host would sit with us. And like I was Russell Falcon. And then when I turned 21, it was kind of like the Ivy story. I had to like change my name and start all over again. So yeah, when I was in college, I was in Atlanta, and Biloxi was about a 4 or 5 hour drive, but only like a 45-minute flight. And they had, I think it was called Value Jet, where like if you had a student ID, you could fly standby for like $40. So like I'd wake up on a random Monday, instead of going to class, I'd like grab a friend and go to the airport. Nobody was flying on a Monday to Biloxi, so there was always standby seats. I'd get there for $40, and I would just go like gamble until the money ran out, and I would like get comped at like the Beau Rivage, and yeah, it was a great time.
That's insane. And you weren't playing poker back then, or you?
No, I wasn't. I was like playing every casino game under the sun,
Like war, by
like
chance?
like Casino War.
So I'm really trying to like,
this
just
was
lead him
once.
to a story. But
Yeah. No, so I mean, on this particular trip, I had played every game in the casino. Couldn't win. Like I lost in blackjack. It's like I'm gonna go play roulette. Lost there. I'm gonna play crap. I couldn't find anything else. And then I see for the first time ever a Casino War table. And I'm like, I mean, who could be better, high card than me? So I sit down at the table, and there's two other people playing, and they're betting like $5, and I'm betting like $100.
Which is sick, by the way, as a 19-year-old or whatever you are at this time.
Yeah, and I'm in the one seat, and like the dealer deals my card, the next person's card, and then they take their card, and their card was like a 3 or a 4, and we all won. And then the dealer proceeds to like pull another card out and like put it on top of my card, and then stop themselves and be like, "Oh, I like reflex. I thought I was dealing blackjack." And I'm like, so then they're like, "Let me just call the floor. I don't know if I'm supposed to back up the card or whatever." So the floor comes over and he's like, "Yeah, that's a misdeal." And I'm like, "Wait, what? How is that a misdeal? The hand's already over. As soon as the dealer gets their card, we've all beaten them." Like, and he's like, "Well, yeah, but another card came out of the shoe, so the hand doesn't count." And I'm like, "Buddy, the hand counts. Like, I've already won. You're gonna pay me." And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna pay you. It's a misdeal." I was like, "So then, by your logic, you could just anytime you lose, just pull another card out of the shoe, make it a misdeal." He's like, "Yeah, but we wouldn't do that." And I'm like,
Except for this example.
I'm like, "What is going on?" I was like, "Bring me like somebody who knows what they're talking about." He's like, "I'm in charge here." And I just like look at him and I'm like, "Listen, someone here makes more money than you do. I'm certain of it. Bring them down." And he just like is like, "No." Like at this point, the other people at the table are starting to realize they're getting screwed because they would have never even figured it out. So
You're gambling illegally, by the way.
Yeah, keep in mind he's underage.
And he's
here, folks.
arguing
Well,
as a lawyer.
Russell Falcon was
Russell,
gambling illegally.
fair enough.
And so then he's like, "Deal the next hand." And I go, "Well, try." And I just sat on the table so that there was no way that they could put cards out. And so security comes over and I'm like, "Listen, this is wrong. Like, you're literally stealing from us, blah, blah, blah." And So one of the higher ups comes down, and when security's like getting ready to like take me away, I'm like telling the story, and the head guy is just like, of course you got to pay them. Like, they won. And I'm like, thank you. Like, what? Can you uncuff me now? No. And
Did they help you off the table, or did you?
at this point, I had helped myself off because I was like, this is probably maybe not worth the $100. But like, I was already kind of out on a ledge at this point. I just had to go with it to a certain extent. So then the floor guy starts profusely apologizing to me. He's like, what can I do? Like, I'm sorry. This should have never happened. I was like, well, first you could send him home. I don't want to play with him around here anymore. And he was, I don't know if they actually sent him home, but he was sent away. And he's like, listen, like, how long are you here? And like, obviously, like, I was basically had no idea. I was just day to day. I was like, well, I wanted to be here for another like 4 or 5 days, but this has really left a bad taste in my mouth. And he's like, well, listen, I'm going to comp you a suite. Whatever you get, food, whatever, it's on us for this entire trip. I want you to enjoy. So I ended up staying, I think it was the entire week. And then, heading back to school. And
You have the confidence of a serial killer.
Well, he was on track to be a lawyer, man. He had to press that edge.
Jeez.
I mean, I was like so undoubtedly right. It was hard to not.
Course.
It's hard to just not do something. Like, what am I going to do?
It's like robbing a bank and like complaining they give you like counterfeit bills. It's just
I've
are you
literally
doing?
lost at everything in the entire casino to the point where I'm playing war. And I finally win something, and they're like, no, you cannot win.
So that was your breaking point.
Yeah, which is funny because there was another time I was in Biloxi where my friend who I was with got arrested on the trip. So I have been to the jail in Biloxi, but I was posting bail and not behind the bars.
Well, what'd he do?
I'm not 100% sure. I just know that I was with him, and I was playing blackjack one morning, and I had left him in the hotel room. And then, like, I hear like people like walking by talking about how the cops beat up some kid in the parking lot. And then, like, an hour later, I get a page, and it's my friend calling me from jail that it was him and that he'd been arrested. I guess he was very tired, and they tried to kick him out of the room, and he just refused to leave and threw a tantrum. And next thing you know. But listen, we bailed him out. We headed to New Orleans for the weekend. We had a nice time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so good. So you never even I guess you were on track to be a law-abiding lawyer, or like a career lawyer, and then
My career was 3 days.
Three-day career, not bad. And
How many cases did you take?
See, that was the issue. Is on the third day. So I was sworn in the morning, and then I came back for my third afternoon, and basically for the first 3 days, I just kind of like dodged around the office, trying not to get them to do anything because I didn't even know what I was doing there, to be honest with you. And like I had like taken like 2-hour lunches and then come back and then like hide in the bathroom for an hour or whatever. So they finally, at the end of my third day, they call me into the office and they're like, "We need you to go to court tomorrow and handle this." And I was just like, "What? Like what do you mean? I don't get this." And so basically what happened was, I was very rattled by this, and I went straight from work to my buddy's apartment. My 2 friends were there, and we got very high. And I was like, I think I'm going to quit. And my one friend goes, "You won't quit, right? You won't call up and quit right now."
What?
Yeah.
You quit just because you called a bluff, basically?
And he's like, it was my friend Jay, he's my best friend, and he's like, you won't quit right now.
you won't.
And I'm like, "Oh, I won't." So I call up. And I'm like, "Hey, listen, like, I'm not gonna be able to make it to court tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna have to, quit. I'm letting myself go. I found another job, and they start asking me questions, and I was so high. And they're like, "Well, where'd you get another job?" And I'm like, "New Jersey." And then they're like, "Wait, did you take the bar in New Jersey?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, what kind of law?" And I'm like, "Insurance?" And they're like, "For who?" And I'm like, "Allstate?" And literally my 2 friends are rolling around on the floor, like in the fetal position. And one of the 2 of them like doesn't react like that. Like, he told me that his stomach hurt for 2 days after. They're just rolling around, and I'm just like, and finally I'm just like, "All right, I gotta go." And I keep trying to get off the phone. He just keeps asking me more questions, and then finally I just like hang up on him. And we talk about this story to this day. We always talk about it. Yeah. So that was my legal career. They asked me to do something, and I got high and challenged to quit.
You got one task in 3 days.
Yeah.
And you
You're
said,
like, this
fuck
is
it.
too much. This is way too much.
This is not what I signed up for when I took
Because
the bar.
I genuinely had no idea what to even do. Like you usually
took the
don't
bar and
but
passed.
You usually don't go to court by yourself like the first time, like with no like preparation, with no anything. Like literally, I was walking out of the office and they're like, "Here, take this, go do this tomorrow," and I'm just like,
I can't.
I'm just gonna go get high and quit.
But you were already playing like what, online and live poker at this time?
Yeah, I keep dropping things. I was playing online all the time, and live I was like playing like in the poker clubs in New York City. Not too much like casino live stuff.
Had you run up like a roll to where you felt confident to quit? Or no?
I'm pretty sure I was broke.
What year was this, by the way, when you quit law?
I want to say like, what year was it? 2009 maybe?
Okay.
Probably 2009, 8 or 9, one of those.
Jeez.
They all kind of run into one another.
They really do.
After 8 comes 9. But yeah, like I would go to class, but after like my first like 2 months, when I just realized I was never gonna really do this, and I was just there to take up space, I would never go to class unless I had money in my PokerStars account, so I could play on my laptop during class, and I would literally never be in class not playing online poker. And once I remember my last day of like the semester, like the kid behind me who I'd never spoken to because I didn't talk to too many of these people, like taps me on the shoulder and goes, "I just wanted to thank you." And I'm like, "What for?" He's like, you kept me entertained for the entire semester. I just sat there and watched you play poker the whole time." And there was another time I was playing like a sit and go, and it was like, like $100 sit and go. So like, a few $100s for first, and like, I needed the money at this point. And my professor like calls on me because in law school they just call on you. They don't. There's no raising of hands.
Sounds like when you have a job in law and they call on you. But
Yeah. But I was studying to have that job. So anyway, I was like clearly not paying attention, and I was just like, I don't know. And he like walks like around the classroom and like comes behind me and sees that I'm playing, but I'm like 3-handed in a sit and go. And he's like, "Do you want to, close that out?" And I'm like, I can't. And he's like,
I'm in the money, dog.
What do you mean you can't? I'm like,
I have 14 big blinds
Like-
and I have Queen Jack's offsuit.
like literally, like this is for real money, and I need it. And it was actually a professor that I got to know pretty well, and he just like shook his head at me in like disgust and was just like, whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, that was my law school experience.
All right, so after you are self-terminated, you had to have a plan in place within a few days, I'm sure, knowing...
Oh yeah, I had like one of those dry erase boards, and I was like mapping out my future.
A big plan.
Yeah. No, I had no plan. My plan was just to play poker, even though I like didn't know what a backer was at this point. Like, had no bankroll. Maybe I had like a couple grand, but I don't even like it. Literally, I went broke at that time like every other day. So whether if I had a couple grand, it was gone the next day, back and forth. So that didn't really matter. And I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna play poker. And my parents were very proud. Like this is what they had dreamed of for me. Mm-hmm. They were like, "We're gonna put you through all this school. We're gonna brag about like how well you're doing, and then you're just gonna do nothing."
I had a similar conversation with my parents after I quit being an engineer, but yeah. They were
Your
more
parents still
silent
speak to you?
Oh, well, one's dead, but thanks for bringing that up.
I'm sorry.
As long as you didn't kill him, I think it's okay.
I mean, as far as I know.
Either who.
He's so morbid.
Yeah,
What's wrong with him?
I have plenty.
There's
We don't have time.
a few things. But no, so...
You really ruined the moment.
Yeah, we just wanted to know if your parents talked to you. You were supposed to chuckle, and then Jerry was going to be like something more morbid than what you said.
Yeah,
I
so
don't.
you can't upstage me.
My big tunas swam out to sea, and I'm here in the harbor. Something like that.
I wasn't even trying to be offensive this time.
Well, you don't really have to try.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
instinctual.
There, yeah. That's what I was born to do.
So your parents don't talk to you anymore?
No, they talk to me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Now, after he won a WPT.
There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of repetition in what they say, telling me, you you could still go back to that other life. Like, no, actually, I can't. It's gone.
Unless you pass the bar in New Jersey and insurance, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be swearing me in anytime soon with any new states.
So something had to have happened between being broke
Yeah.
and quitting a lawyer job to start cashing for large amounts of money in 2010. Sorry, I ended up looking you up. Not just so I know who
Justin
you are.
has the internet, just so you know. He can see.
And I know
you
how to use
caching
it.
Things.
Pornhub is down.
No, you were on there too.
Thank you for that. This might increase my search by 4 people. Yeah, no, I don't know. I was like playing online, and like I guess I built up like a little bit of bankroll because like 2009 was my first World Series summer, and I came out here. I probably had like 15 grand to my name,
All right.
and I was like, I'm gonna win the World Series.
Yeah, you're gonna wreck it.
And yeah, I actually my first summer I rented an apartment off Craigslist.
Solid.
Like I thought this was okay to do. I was in the hood, and I was sharing an apartment with Bobby Abudi, who was like my first friend in poker, who I had met one time. I played him. I won a trip to PCA like online, and I played him in the Battleship Heads Up tournament that he ended up winning. And I talked to him for 10 minutes. We exchanged AOL Instant Messenger screen names.
What was your screen name?
I have to know this.
JTJ 6969.
Nice. That's almost as embarrassing as mine.
Yeah. And I would tell people it's because both the Mets and Jets won in 1969.
But
I'm just a fucking loser.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Mine was Pimp Smack 2005.
Yeah.
So I had you.
But you
in
would probably
similar
have
shape.
the same name if you created it right now. I might change mine a little bit.
Maybe. It's 2024 now, so
Yeah.
I might have
Pimp Smack
to move up.
2024.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Maybe change it to 6969. That might be the move. A little upgrade.
We can have a joint account.
Yeah, well,
Really getting into
That'd be great.
the soul of Jaffee here with
All right, so you met this guy half
so
the time.
I met him for like 10 minutes. We exchanged AOL Instant Messenger screen names. And we just decided we're going to live together. That's how we're at the World Series. And the next time I saw him was when like I walked into this ghetto apartment.
That's how I met my wife.
Really?
Yeah, 10 minutes, and
That's
then we
also
moved
how I
into-
met your wife.
All right, carry on.
Sorry, that's not for. You can delete that out, right?
nope.
My kids watch this, man.
Okay.
They actually do.
Which one of them looks like me? Sorry, this is terrible. Anyway, so that summer I had like 15 grand, and like I remember like the first tournament of that summer was maybe like I think it was like a PL08 or 08 tournament or whatever, which I'd never played before, but I couldn't wait till the second day when there was a no limit tournament. So I literally, my first WSOP tournament was in a game I didn't know the rules to, on a 15K bankroll, staked by no one. And like, obviously like I torched it, I can't even read the board. And then I remember that night going into my real first tournament, which would have been like the no limit tournament the next day. I went to the Rhino and I woke up the next morning with a receipt from every credit card in my wallet.
Oh no.
I probably had like 3 or 4, but I was really taking this my first foray into the World Series seriously, playing a game I didn't know the rules to, and parlaying that into a night at the Rhino where I maxed out every one of my credit cards.
So in 31 days.
And I don't remember anything. I remember nothing. So I obviously went broke shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And I was just in Vegas, like didn't have enough money to play the main event, and I got introduced to Ben Zamani, the Stein,
Oh, I like Ben.
and he became through this my first ever backer. And he like moron. He like started letting me like grind online, trying to like win a WSOP seat or whatever. And then like I won something online like a day before the main, and I guess he put me in it, and I think I won something for like 18 grand, and so I got like 9 of it. And he's like, well, what's the plan? I'm like, well, I'm using this for the main event.
All in.
And
Yes, let's go.
well, that settles it. I'm going to start backing you because anybody who's that sick, I want to back. And so that's basically, had he not decided to stake me, I don't know what would have happened, because then I would have been going home completely broke and demoralized. But instead, he started putting me in stuff, and like somehow I've just hung around. I don't know how. It's crazy. It's just defying all the odds. Yeah.
I'm looking for the peak of the story, and we still haven't come to it yet.
Oh, there's a peak. You were looking for a peak.
I'm hoping for
What was
one.
the question?
It's all valleys with Tuna. We got no peaks.
I mean, I know when.
I thought it was like, how did it start?
No, that is.
Well,
about
no,
how it
that no.
started.
Like,
Yeah, that sounds
I
good.
just
You want to know how it ends?
no.
Probably
don't.
soon.
How about a high point between Benzimani and today?
Oh, a high point.
Yeah, like
You know, like a peak, like a high kind of point.
I mean, like from poker, I guess like peak was like some of the things I won.
There you go.
I won a bracelet and I won a couple WPTs along the way. Again,
That's more
I
than
basically
9%.
kind of black out when these things happen because it just doesn't seem like it's like.
But, okay, so I know in 2010 you like scored for your first 6-figure score.
This was actually quite interesting as well. So I just come back from the series, right? And Ben's backing me. And he starts to go broke. And he's like only able at this point to like send me like crumbs online to grind. He'd be like, play a couple like $24, like 180 mans, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he wins a seat to PCA. I'm like broke. He's sending me like $50 a day. I'm like, spit it up. And like he goes to PCA and he's basically broke. And that's his shot. And he gets fourth for $1 million. And he calls me up and he says, go to Biloxi. I'm going to send you enough money for a plane ticket and a room and like the first couple tournaments. And I'll meet you there like a couple weeks in, like a weekend. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to Biloxi. And I fly to Biloxi. I go to the Beau Rivage. I still had some comps there from the college days.
Well, you're not.
Right, but I had gone like a couple times once I turned 21 while I was down there. So I was able to get a free room. And yeah, so he's like tells me to play a $500 tournament. And I play it and I win. And then like I play like a $300 tournament the next day and I get like third. And then he gets there and I'm playing like the full tilt 1K, the weekly, like in the room, and I get like fifth. This is all like back to back to back days.
Jesus.
And he goes, well, I guess you're playing the main event, which was a 10K WPT. And I get fourth for like 150,000 or something like that. And I lost a flip to Hoyt Corkins.
Oh, Alabama, great.
Yeah.
He's a hard guy to flip against.
Yeah.
Usually has aces.
Yeah. Well, no, he had jacks, which was the bottom.
Yeah.
And I had king queen, which was
You got
kind of my
pretty
top.
lucky for you.
And I
You're
didn't
more of a
win.
top.
And I remember like Ben was backing me, and he's such a weirdo. He literally didn't even come to he just sat in the room and like played online. And like he wasn't even like following the updates. Like I'd come up on breaks to the room and he'd be like, "Are we still in?"
First place is like got to be
First place was
$750,000.
$750,000. He couldn't be bothered. He couldn't go down the elevator. And I also remember the day, the in the middle of the night, like at like 5 in the morning of the final table, the hotel alarms start going off, and they evacuated the hotel. Like it wasn't like one of the ones where you actually just got to like sit there and like go back to sleep. We had to like flee, and I remember like we couldn't use the elevators. I'm like walking down my figures. I make a final table, and literally the fucking place is gonna burn to the ground. Like this really happened, and yeah. So that was basically how it started. And then like I got like second in like the win main that used to be big.
Oh, yeah, I remember
like
that.
I think it was like 2 months later or something like that in March, and I all of a sudden had like 2 6-figure scores in like 3 months from like, you know, trying to make $50 a day work online. And then, yeah.
So you went from dust and
Dust.
probably negative dust to like you
Having
had
some
6
money.
figures of your own.
Yeah.
Did
And
you?
here I am today, dust again.
Did you like try to go it on your own, or did you stick with Ben after that for the World Series and stuff?
No, I think I stuck with him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think like I would like buy a bunch of my action and have like part of it on stake, whatever. But yeah, I stayed with him. He was the best backer ever. Ben would let you put anything on makeup. You go to the Rhino tonight? Here, put it on makeup. You want to get fucked up tonight? Yeah, put it on makeup. You know, he was like, why would I ever leave? He was the greatest backer ever.
I can't believe you went broke. Jeez.
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe that wasn't sustainable. But yeah, he was fun to play for.
So were you underneath his flag when you won your first bracelet or your first WBT?
Not my first no, neither. No, by then I was
Sorry, Ben.
yeah. No,
Almost.
yeah. I mean, he still did okay with me.
Yeah.
better than he should have. That's for sure. Like he should have lost, and he somehow didn't. So that's like, can't feel bad for him. Yeah, no, my first bracelet, I think I just like sold. I sold like a summer package, so I just had like half for myself and like half I sold. And like my first WPT, I think I actually had I had like 75% of that with Jacksonville. I had 70 because like my buddy used to just buy 30, and I would keep the rest.
Was this during the big cock poker era?
No, this was before.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Pre-cock.
Pre-cock.
Pre-puberty.
The flaccid area.
Yeah. In the grower, not a shower.
Yeah. In the egg, baby chick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was early. That was like 2000, I don't even know. Maybe like, I don't even know. It was a long time ago when I won those things. But yeah, big cock poker is more like probably in the last, I don't know, maybe like 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. So maybe a little bit after that. They wouldn't have me until I won something, like I was basically like.
Oh, do they check?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, there's an inspection.
You don't quite make the cut.
Yeah, you have to have a certain cock and a certain hendon. And the good news was I won a couple of things, so they let me.
It adds an inch or two.
Yeah, basically like
1 inch per comma.
they take the mean of your cock and your hendon, and I was able to kind of just inch over the bar.
So you just got insertion.
Yeah, well, not for long. Yeah, it's too long. Yeah, I don't want to have a heart attack.
But you met some fine people along the way. You're still friends with those guys, right?
Yeah, no, still.
Massey's, right?
Massey's, yeah, like my brothers, my little Mexican brothers.
I've never not enjoyed playing at the same table with one of the Masseys. I won't say which one.
You would be one.
We all know which one.
You would be one of the few. Yeah, I mean, well, the thing about playing at a table with one of the Masseys is if you're not the 1 or 2 people that they're offending, then you're really enjoying your time there.
That's fair.
So, but yeah, no, we have a good time. We
where are all your tattoos?
I'm not
Is it
allowed.
just from here to here?
My mom won't let me have a tattoo. No.
Well, that's where she draws the line. After all the shit you've pulled.
I remember maybe like a year or 2 ago, like my parents obviously know Aaron and Ralph really well. They're like their adopted parents at this point. And one day, like I think it was Aaron was like, we ran into them at the Wynn or whatever, and my mother just looks at Aaron and just like looks at his arms, looks at his legs, like, could you have any more tattoos? And Aaron's like, yes, I can, and I'm going to. And that's like a common joke now. Like he'll just go up to my mother and be like, "What do you think? Can I have any more tattoos?" But yeah, so we're good friends, but they're we're not exactly twins. Maybe in the Danny DeVito Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and obviously I would be Schwarzenegger in that situation.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get that far. Yep.
Yeah.
For those listening, not watching, Jaffee towers over both Justin and I. Although
he just
upper body,
slouches.
he's
That's
slouching.
it.
I don't want to. This is their show. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both sitting on bricks right now.
Yeah, I can sit up. I'm comfortable.
Why would you? You want to be?
I love his beard.
It's going away soon, guys.
All right, so we have the upswing. I think people know about the downswing. Just check the hand in after that, right? And then what else happened?
I'm depressed now. I was having fun.
So, what year would you say you were most depressed?
This is what, 2024?
This is 2024.
Please don't be this year.
Yeah, it might be 2024.
Oh,
well, I mean, look at where I am right now. I'm sitting next to the 2 of you guys in a lawn chair in a garage surrounded by Marvel fucking decorations.
This is not a garage. If you look back here, this table 1. We're gonna
go. This is I'm here at table 1.
We're gonna play after this.
It's not. It's not depressing at all. It's not depressing at all. I don't know. Probably the worst. The worst was probably like 2000, maybe 14, 15, something like that. I think I went like 0 for 31, like one of those World Series summers or something like that. Yeah. And I was just like, I think I busted the main with like literally like dick on the line, like day 3 to like, it was like a little bit before the money, maybe like 100 people before the money to Selst. And I don't.
So you had the best hand.
That could have been rock bottom. No, I actually did not have the best hand. I tried bluffing her, literally with dick on the line, 100 from the money, and I'm just like, let me bluff. Yeah, didn't work. And then I was like, trying to borrow. I had to borrow like a credit card, like to book a flight home back to New York. That was back when I was living in New York. So that probably could be considered rock bottom. That and this.
Glad I could be part of it.
Yeah, no.
Like I'd like to think of you thinking of Selps and me in the same breath.
Well, there's a lot of similarities. I'm not getting canceled. I'm gonna stay.
I mean, she's done really good ever since she started Upswing Poker.
Who?
Self.
She's on Upswing Poker?
She started it, right?
Oh, I don't know. Believe it or not, I don't study that much.
Sorry, she could be Doug Polk. I always get those two confused.
They look. It's close. It's kind of close.
So anyway, so were you gambling like outside of poker during like all this time? I assume you were.
Yeah, I was.
Because like
always
most
gambling.
poker players do, they find some vice to like hitch their wagon to.
Yeah,
whether it's drugs or.
I've been known to bet on sports,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm behaving these days.
Are you? I just heard you get a bunch of money down on a certain sports bet recently.
No, that's not a sports
A
bet.
certain Landon Tice
That's not-
versus Mr. Becker.
Listen, nothing that Land,
WSOP.
I mean, poker is a
crossbook.
sport.
nothing
so,
that
clearly,
nothing that Landon's doing is going to be a sport. I'm like literally, you can give him a ball, whatever. It's not a sport.
You can be like, nice hand, sport.
Yeah, no. I did bet a little bit on that Becker kid.
Yeah, you think Becker's got a shot?
I mean, I would be surprised if he didn't win, but I bet on him, so that hurts his chances.
oh man, should we tell him? I mean,
No,
I feel like it's just like
you don't want to
sit out there.
demoralize the kid.
You can maybe tell him. I mean, the Denver Nuggets never knew that he was betting on them, so you might as well tell someone. It could change something. Listen, guy, I'm riding. We're riding. I also don't own a computer.
I own a computer, but I didn't until COVID.
I was shocked you owned a car. Like I was trying to give you a ride over here.
Yeah, I like my first 5 years in Vegas, I didn't have a car. I've had a car for like 3 years.
Yeah. I feel like people from New York just don't have cars.
Like I had a car like in high school and college, and then when I moved to Brooklyn after college, like I had a car for a little bit, and it was such a pain in the ass parking that I was just like, I don't want a car anymore. And then so I came out here and I didn't have a car, and I was living on the strip, so I was like, oh, I could just Uber. And then I lost my license for a little bit.
In an Uber?
No, I would rent a car during the World Series every summer.
How would you lose your license by renting a car?
Well, it wasn't for renting the car exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I spent the better part of day 2 of the WSOP Maine one summer in county jail here in Las Vegas.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know this story. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I, you know how there's a day off in between day 1 and day 2 of the Maine? So I bagged day 1. I was living in Summerlin at that time, and I was sharing a house with Kevin Stammen and Ravi. And I was like taking a nap, it was like 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
sleep time.
And they like come into my room and they're like, oh, you want to we're going to go to Fogo de Chao. And I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, I'm sleeping. So then they left, and then it hit me what was going on. And I woke up, I was like, Fogo de Chao sounds great. But I'm like, I call them, they're like, whoa, we just got seated. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to rush over there. So I get in my car, I'm like, you got to smoke before you go to Fogo de Chao. And I was like, oh, I don't really have time, so I'll just smoke while I'm riding over there. And I was also texting, and I get pulled over for texting, and the officer noticed the smell, and he arrested me. And it was like 9 p.m., and I was in jail all night, and Massey literally had to go hire a lawyer who had to get me released from jail the next day. And I get let out of jail. I'm fucking downtown. I don't want to wear the same clothes, whatever. So I take a taxi. I have nothing with me. I take a taxi. I don't even have keys. Take a taxi back to Summerlin just so I could shower and whatever. And I literally had 170 missed calls and messages because I'd been blinding out of the Maine for 5 hours, and everyone's like, he's got to be dead. And then like finally I get back there. I haven't slept one wink because you don't want to sleep there. And like the fourth or fifth hand, I like double and I like spin it all the way up. I ended up making day 5 that year.
Holy shit.
But what was crazy is by like the end of the day, I was like delirious. I couldn't even see the board, so I left an hour early too. I just left. I pulled an Ivy and I just left my card on my chips, and I went home. And I remember. So then it gets worse. So I'm at this new house, like I'm at this house I'm staying at, and it's like dark, and I'm like, you know, delirious, and I like get out of an Uber, and I'm like, well, and I trip over the front step, like. Break my toe, I like fall, I'm like bleeding everywhere. And I just, you know what? That was rock bottom. That was it, because I remember I was just like laying on the cement. I just spent the night in jail. Ooh. I blinded out for 5 or 6 hours. I'm bleeding, I'm fucking, and I just like look up and I'm just like, and then the best part was, since I didn't have keys, there was no one home and I was locked out. And I had to wait like an hour just like sitting there in the grass, dejected, wounded, just evaluating life. And
Isn't rock bottom so much funnier in the rearview mirror?
yeah, who knows what's about to happen when I leave here though. I don't want to count my chickens. But yeah, so that was that was my World Series main event in jail story.
Oh my God, that's
Good
a
run.
story.
Yeah,
Good
day
run.
5, man.
That's really impressive.
And you probably would have busted at some point on day 2 early on.
Yeah, I mean,
for
anytime
sure.
I'm not there is definitely advantageous to me. It was a good thing I had a nice stat going into day 2.
Thank you, Officer Cooler.
I remember too, so like I didn't say a word in my cell for like a while, and there was a lot of people in there. And then like after maybe like 7, 8 hours, you know, I like talked to a couple people, and you know, I started making some friends in there, and like they're asking me questions. And then like at some point, it's got to be like probably like 7 a.m. the next day, like I tell them about the poker tournament, and they're all like,
Okay.
they literally are like, wait, how much can you win? Like $10 million? They started like beating on the thing, like, you gotta let this guy out. They're like, yo, if you win, like, you take care of all of us? And I'm like, listen, absolutely.
You'll
like,
be in my stable.
Names, numbers.
Yeah,
Let's go.
but it's true. Like they were very nice to me.
Did you stay in touch?
I didn't, but I do remember that when I got out, like they release everybody like at the same time, and like 2 or 3 guys who were in my cell like told me how proud they were of how well I did and like gave me a hug. That was the end of it.
Damn, nice. Oh, he's gonna cry about that.
Yeah, I mean it was
touching.
it was emotional.
I'm gonna cry for a different reason.
It was emotional. I'm actually a little bit horrified by like reliving all these stories that I'm giving you right now. There's a lot of real demented stuff that's coming back to me.
Dude, it's great. Keep them up. At some point, you told me a story. You had met John Raciner, and then you went on some sort of cruise. I don't know if that's fit for TV.
Yeah, no, we just went on a spring break cruise like when we were
Too
a
old.
little bit older than spring breakers, and we had a nice time. I will tell one funny racing story about that is you know, like when you're on a cruise, you sit at the same like dinner table every night. You have your own assigned table, and our table was like in the back next to the wall, and this one wall was just like this giant like floor to ceiling mirror, and the other wall was just like a normal wall. And I remember like the second night, I'm sitting here, and Racer's sitting here, so his like back is to the wall with the mirror, and he just looks at me and he goes, "You think we can switch seats?" And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because I really like looking at myself in the mirror." But he wasn't joking.
I mean,
He meant it.
That's incredible.
I mean, I
Racer's
guess
an attractive man.
if I looked
Like,
like John, I would want to look. I'd be jerking off in the mirror. I would turn down sex to jerk off in the mirror if I was John Raciner. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting, interesting little former second place main event champion, story for people who don't know.
he's probably the sexiest second place champion of all time, I would imagine.
Ooh, that's got to go through the leaderboard, but I'm going to say you're probably right. Who else?
I mean,
got
just in
second?
poker, just in general.
Ooh,
I mean,
didn't some guy who was recently on our podcast that may or may not have been a professional limboist come second in the main event?
we're talking about Jesse Sylvia.
Yeah, he's kind of sexy.
I mean,
I'd take Raciner. No offense to the other guy.
I mean, I agree. Like, I didn't want to just put it too fine a point. I like Jesse. I don't know John super well.
Yeah, but you know what he looks like.
Yeah, but if you put like Racer in
what
like
he
the
looks like.
microwave and he like
Yeah. Is that something that might now happen?
I don't know, but like I mean, it might have already happened.
Oh wow.
A little shrink wrap racer.
Yeah.
Shrink wrap racer.
Jesus. That's I cannot confirm or deny.
I love everybody.
All right, so you like cruises. It's been determined.
Yeah, I enjoy a nice cruise.
And I know you're not affiliated, but the other day you were hyping up this WPT
Oh, that's
cruise.
right.
You're
That's
going to go
right.
on it.
Yeah, I'm fucking psyched. I'm going on a WPT cruise.
When is this?
I think it leaves March 31st.
And where are you going and what are you playing?
I'm going in the ocean. I'm playing poker.
Tuna belongs in the ocean.
It goes to the Bahamas, I think, and Grand Cayman Islands. And there's a WPT Maine. There's a 5K. There's a 25K. There's 1K.
Are you
there's
playing
one.
all of those?
I mean, how much money are you going to give me?
I'd buy a piece.
I would hope so. I mean, you're just using my money. What's the difference?
Buddy, a gambler's money has no home. You know that. It's just in his pockets for now.
It's already gone. Everything
It's
you
already
gave me, I promise, is gone. Like I feel bad, just as bad as you do. Probably.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but that's just the way I was raised. But yeah, I'm going on that cruise. My first big poker tournament actually was a cruise. It was the WPT. I don't know if it was WPT. I think it was Party Poker Millions.
Yeah.
It was a limit tournament,
Yeah,
a 10K
that's right.
buy-in.
Lingren won that. I remember
Lindgren
watching
won
that
it.
shit on TV.
Yeah, like it was crazy because I won like a satellite on Party Poker, playing a normal tournament, and then I get on the cruise and they deal me cards and I raise, and they're like, "You can't do that," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I find out literally while I'm playing that this is a limit tournament, not a no limit tournament. It was a 10K limit tournament. And I think I was like the first person out. I like had no. Scotty Wynn was at my table. I was living the dream. This was so long ago. This was before I even went to law school. I think. Yeah, this was after college. So like I had no fucking clue. Like you think I don't know what I'm doing now? Like I didn't even know the rules. But I was having a great. I was like playing in the poker room every night. I was like, that might be I think where I really like. That was the time when I was like, I'm gonna play poker. It was so much fun.
Right.
Yeah, I was not winning, but I was having a great time losing.
Not similar, but I have a similar kind of registering story for the WSOP six-handed event. I was like, I'm going to play this 2500 six-max event. This sounds great. This is probably 08 or something like that. And
Before I started backing you, I know that. Go ahead.
yeah, and I sat down at the table. I find, or no, I don't sit down at the table. I'm like looking at my
table?
What?
You didn't sit?
Yeah, I played a stand-up game. I was the inventor of the stand-up game at this table. Wow. So I look at my thing. It's a limit hold'em tournament, as it turns out.
Oh, you registered the wrong tournament.
Yeah, not a no limit hold'em tournament. And I was just like, should I play it? Should I not? I showed up at noon to play it, but didn't start till 3 because it was like one of those the mixed game ones. They all start like a bit later.
So you're doing great. Wrong tournament, wrong time.
Wrong tournament, wrong time.
Nice.
I arrive.
And then you decided to back him.
And I'm not the biggest idiot. I'm not the biggest idiot at the table. We start playing. I'm just playing every hand because I'm like, oh, this is basically free. I'm getting in. There's a guy sitting across from me. I'm in the 5 seat. He's in the 2 seat of this 6-handed tournament. We play the hand. He just limps in. Somebody raises. He calls, and just like somebody bets into him like 3 times. And then they're out of their small chips. You know, it's 300 is the limit or whatever, so you can only bet 300. So they throw out a 5K chip or whatever their smallest chip was. And this guy just goes into the tank. He just sits there and he's just like tanking on the river. He's just like looking at this bet. He's looking at his stack, you know, like it's a fucking no limit hold'em tournament. And he eventually tank folds. And it turns out this guy was the same as me, except he never found out it was a limit tournament until about an hour into it.
So you thought 5K was 5K.
So every time it was on the river against this guy, people were just throwing in a big chip as their bet. And until he finally called, and the guy got 4,700 and change on their big chip, he had no fucking idea that we were playing a limit hold'em tournament.
Wow.
So you guys took advantage of him and didn't tell him.
Yeah.
So you're scum. I got you.
Yeah, and then I got 4th place. Thanks, random guy in the 2 seat. Only WSOP event I ever final table.
I mean, that's
Final table this tournament.
I mean, but between Art and I, 4th place is the highest finish we've had in WSOP, and we've tried a lot.
We have tried a lot. I'm definitely a big loser in the WSOP.
Why do you think that is?
It's so hot.
Do you want a top 10 list, or
Like you just think that like it's variance? You think you should have done
that
better?
doesn't sound right? But I mean, that's what I tell my wife and myself at night. But in all honesty, I don't know.
Because I've won.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I've known lots of people that have won. Almost everyone wins during the summer.
Well, now they got those online bracelet events with 60 people. You might have a shot at one of those.
Yeah, I refuse to play those.
Yeah, good. Way to have standards. Just now.
Listen, at some point you get a little older, and you just realize that
You're in so much makeup that you can't clear it with the WSOP online bracelet.
how the
I
fuck
get a bracelet and get zero money.
How the fuck how much are these bracelets worth if I try to sell them? Yeah, it's not worth it.
Ask TJ Cloutier.
Yeah. He's actually got half my action these days.
So one of the more depressing times for me, like I was back for a couple years, and I appreciate the backing. I needed it for sure. I was near rock bottom as well at the time.
You're welcome.
But but like I remember like chopping a tournament for 6 figures, and it was so huge, and it was like it didn't cover the makeup or whatever. But the guy could back me, and like I do love whatever, it's backs. Like Cliff Josephine, who's fantastic.
Lovely man.
He literally was at the final table with me. There's 5 of us or 4 of us left. He busts because he refused to chop, and as soon as he busts, we all decide to chop. And he's up there complaining about his like how he busted and his bad beat, and I'm getting paid out. I don't touch the chips. The cashier literally puts out 100,000 in front of me, and as mid sentence of like, I can't believe he called him with king queen there. That's just bullshit. Puts it in his thing and is like, all right, Justin, have a good night. I'm like, oh, I just wanted to touch him just for a second. I just wanted.
You're still talking about the chips?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Just making sure.
It's the first success I had in like 2 years, and I was just like,
I remember it. Like, yeah, like you like won something, and I was like, I can't believe this guy fucking won something. Like, he's always around, and I thought he had no chance.
Thank you.
And then then you got good and rich, and now you're like one of the most successful guys like in the poker world.
That can't be true.
Literally like loans anyone money. Like if anybody needs like a little float, hit him up. He has no problem. You are so generous.
That to a fault, to the point where I'm almost broke again.
Yeah. Well, then you guys better hurry up. Yeah. You can't say no.
My standards are getting slightly higher, as it turns out.
Yep. Higher by necessity.
Yeah.
No standards for me. Or not anything.
So
life is easier that way.
You've had the pleasure of playing Table 1 over the last couple of weeks. Is that true?
No. I've played.
Will you expound?
It wasn't a pleasure. I'm sorry.
I misworded that. It was a pleasure for other people to have you at Table 1.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes. I'm fairly certain that there's cheating going on there. Marked cards, collusion. There's a lot of that shit. The RNG is clearly not up to snuff. You guys have graciously opened your doors.
Sorry I brought it up. I don't know why I did.
And you've invited me in there, and I've kept the lights on. And I'm not. What's crazy is I could play way worse than I've played.
Yeah.
Like I can certainly play worse than I've played, and that's a scary thought.
Can't wait for you to start winning and seeing that.
I mean, is that binding? Are you promising me that I'm going to start winning at some point?
No. I can't even promise myself I'm going to start winning.
Okay.
No, it's like trying to guess the ending of the movie. We're all rooting, but like sometimes
I don't know if everyone's rooting. Although I don't think I have any enemies there yet. Do I have any enemies?
Who would you have as an enemy?
Well, in general, if I sit down at a poker table,
Oh, sure, okay, fine.
But I think at table 1,
The best way.
I've been welcomed with open arms. It's hard to believe that all these private games just put their arms around me. It's like, I heard all these years, everyone's like, it's so tough to get into those exclusive games, and then it doesn't seem that tough. I don't get it.
Mysteries of the universe.
Unbelievable.
You bring personality to it.
If anyone out there wants to get on Table 1, you just got to go to the website, table1.vegas. Fill out the.
There's a website?
There's a website. There's a YouTube channel. There's social media. We got it all, baby.
There's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This is what this
We're
is
gonna
on.
put your pretty face on it.
Wow.
You're going to be the poster boy of Table 1.
I should be. If you want people to come play.
I mean, I already got a poster of you above my bed. Might as well put you on the Table 1.
Do they make posters that big? How do we? I guess they
It's not life-sized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just my cock. Plenty of room.
All right.
Someone fill the space. I can't talk.
How long has it been? Not your cock. Show me your phone.
It's
Okay, about an hour. We're doing good. Is there anything else you want to share with the people of the internet? I feel like there should be don't have a Louis C.K. moment, but like share something.
I think I've shared a lot. Like, what else do you want me to share? What can I share? I mean,
good question.
I'm an open book.
You really are.
But, you know, you ask, I answer.
I mean, so what are you looking forward to in 20? This sounds so stupid. What are you looking forward to in 2024? I know you're going to give me some depressing answer. And
What do you mean? Why would you say that?
Are you looking forward to the cruise the most? Like, you know, the World Series of Poker coming up, like a certain event, like the schedule came out. I want to give our listeners a little bit of hope.
Well, who's up next?
Matt Berkey.
Well, there is no hope.
Well, like there you go. There's your hope. You have Becker versus Tice and
Becker.
and Berkey obviously
Sorry,
has
buddy.
Tice.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Is that what your crowning jewel of the summer is going to be? Crowning jewel of the year is just like pinning your hopes to Jeremy Becker.
No, I told you. You know what my thing is that I really enjoy, and the World Series is coming up, so I'll get to do this like multiple times a day, every day for 2 months. Is I like to go through the chip counts of tournaments and scroll up from the bottom, and just
Just what?
I have alone time as I see all the people who have busted out of the tournament. They bust, I bust.
Yeah.
That is my porn, and there's
Their
nothing
name,
better.
0 chips.
Yeah. Like, Justin Bonomo has been eliminated. Oh. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Wow,
Matt Stout, 0. Oh.
That one just gets to the ceiling.
Oh,
huh?
my God. Seriously. It's a special time of year. It really is. It really is. It's exhausting.
I don't know how you don't get chafed.
I didn't say I don't.
Yeah. He's not a dry docker. He's a...
I actually am. Friction. It's all about the friction.
It's all about the friction.
You know.
Oh, I'm an engineer. Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
I figured it out when I was young.
Yeah.
All right. I think on that note, we should just wrap it up. Is there anywhere people can follow the Big Tuna on the internet to see more of these spectacular hot takes?
I was going to say something, but then I didn't. Twitter, Jared Jaffee 21. Instagram, which I never use, Vegas Tuna. All your guys' stories at Table One with no chips in front of me.
Allyourguys.com or
Yeah,
something.
all your guys. Come find me on Grindr. Just make sure that you keep your radius really big, just in case you're not close enough. You don't want to miss out. I'm great on the phone.
Oh my God. Well, thanks for doing this, dude. This was fun.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Jared.
That's the pod.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money.